What is your Andre AHS Rules back again with another video in back-to-back days of fantasy booking on the channel. So if you're wondering, hey, AHS, you were just wearing that Mortal Kombat shirt. I'm immediately filming this video after the previous one. So there is that. But this time around, I am doing a first-time fantasy booking on the channel. And it's something that I probably should have done, but it completely never entered my mind until just recently. But in this video, I will be providing my suggestions on how I would book the 2024 Owen Hart Foundation Tournaments for the men's and women's sides. So I will more than likely be referring to this as the Owen Hart Cup for the rest of this video because it is a lot shorter to say that. But this year's the previous 2 years that we've had this tournament has been great. This third year should be no exception. And this time around, the winners will receive title shots at All In. So making this video on Monday, June 17th, so everything is up to date to that point. So if anything changes, I apologize. So starting with the women's side. As of right now, we have 5 competitors announced. We have Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, Mariah May, Saraya, and Hikaru Shida. So I need to fill... the first year technically had 16 people because they had qualifying matchups and then the tournament. Last year was just 8 for both sides, so this year sticking with the same thing. Also, have no clue when this tournament will start. Last year started at Forbidden Door. Again, going with that same sentiment, I would imagine this year starts at Forbidden Door as well. But those last 3 entrants, my suggestions: Deonna Purrazzo, Sky Blue, and legit Layla Hirsch, who's been mainly competing on Ring of Honor the past year or so, but past couple weeks has been more of an AEW talent. There's a matchup I would like to see her take place in that I'll suggest in a handful of seconds. So, the first round, Hikaru Shida, Sky Blue, Layla Hirsch versus Deonna Purrazzo, Mariah May and Saraya, a rematch of a match we saw a couple weeks ago on Dynamite that, to be honest, was not that bad of a match. And the biggest match out of these to take place would be Chris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale, the 2 former friends, now enemies. And more importantly, Willow being last year's Owen Hart winner, it would mean something. She already announced her entrance into this year's tournament, but I feel that her stopping Chris Statlander from winning would play a factor in their rivalry. And again, I expect these two to compete one-on-one once again in the near future. But moving on to the next round, Willow Nightingale, Mariah May, Deonna Purrazzo, Hikaru Shida. I would have Mariah May getting the upset. And the only reason I'm calling that an upset is because Willow just won last year's tournament. Deonna Purrazzo, Hikaru Shida would be a coin flip. Would be a great match. I'm going to go with Shida winning because she is a former 3-time, maybe 4-time, but I'm going with 3-time women's champion. Meaning the tournament finals, Mariah May, Hikaru Shida. I think the popular pick and the suggested pick by a lot of people I am going with, and that being Mariah May. Now, I will say, I don't know if they specified which championship the winner of this tournament will face at All In. I think there's a great scenario for the 2 women's championships, though, because Mariah May could tease being a championship alongside her good friend Toni Storm and go after the TBS championship currently held by Mercedes Moné. Or we can get this big clash of their friendship, Mariah May, Toni Storm match at All In. Either side would do, but my suggestion for the women's side would be Mariah May. Now, getting to the men's side, I had a lot more freedom because there's only 3 entrants announced right now, and I have a lot of crazy stuff I am throwing at the wall. So I'm writing down the time. I will also say, this is a side note, is I did a fantasy booking for the Continental Classic, and I had a lot of really crazy stuff in that, and almost none of it came true. I suggested Kenny Omega, and then he immediately got injured. I suggested Kenta and RVD as like surprise entrants, kind of like how the G1 has it. And RVD did appear on AEW like soon after that, but obviously was not in that tournament. So far, the 3 men announced are Bryan Danielson, the Bastard Pac, and Shingo Takagi. Now, my 5 suggestions for the other 5 competitors: Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Ricky Starks, and Hangman Adam Page. Now, the first round, I'm going to reference another video that I made earlier this year. And I was talking about Bryan Danielson's 2024 Final Countdown Tour. And it was dream matchups that I wanted to see Bryan Danielson have this year. And I'm knocking 2 of those off of in this tournament. The first one being Bryan Danielson and Orange Cassidy. I'll get to the other one in a minute. That kind of spoils who I expect to win this first round matchup. The next matchup I'm suggesting, Kyle O'Reilly versus Roderick Strong, a rematch that we saw at Dynasty a couple of months ago now. This next matchup, a very random one, and shout out to Cage Match for this reference I'm about to make, but the Bastard Pac versus Shingo Takagi. Now, the previous 2 Owen Hart Cups had New Japan talent in Tomohiro Ishii and Kojima Lariat, in which both of them lost in the first round, and I mainly think that's just due so, hey, we had a New Japan talent in the tournament. We probably couldn't have them make another date. Spoiler, I'm having Shingo win this match. I don't care. By the way, Dragon Gate reference. This is why I was saying shout out to Cage Match. These 2 have competed once before on October 21st, 2011 in Dragon Gate. So there's your Dragon Gate reference. In the last matchup in the first round, if you remember the other 2 competitors I said Ricky Starks and Hangman Adam Page. I think it'd be good to have Starks involved in this because A, where the hell is Ricky Starks? We, as fans, want to see him back. And B, he won last year's tournament, and this year's tournament means a little bit more, like I've said, because there's a title match at All In on the line. And someone that really wants to be world champion once again is Hangman Adam Page. So I feel that this would be a good story. Like, right out of the gate, we're crowning a new champion in this tournament. Spoiler, I have Hangman winning. So, get into this second round. I think craziness. This is absolute craziness. Bryan Danielson, Kyle O'Reilly. I think this is the one Bryan Danielson match I really want to see before his retirement tour is done. And I just want it to happen. So I think this would be a perfect time for it. The other side, Shingo Takagi, Hangman Adam Page. I don't think you could put Shingo in there with anybody and it be a bad match. But I think Shingo and Hangman is a lot crazy. Again, referencing that Final Countdown Tour video. I did say Shingo and Danielson, and this would probably be the perfect opportunity for that, but, you know, I kind of threw it out of the window for these 2 matchups. And now, the finals. I won't lie, another thing that I saw on Twitter, but I'm putting my own twist and opinion with it. But the finals, Bryan Danielson, Hangman Adam Page, 4. First time around, it was a time limit draw. Weeks later, Hangman was able to defeat Danielson. Months later, Danielson defeated Hangman in the vacant title tournament. Meaning they right now are 1-1-1. Perfect time to break that tiebreaker. And it's a great time as well to... because Swerve Strickland needs to be mentioned, and he will be mentioned in a couple seconds. Because I won't lie to you, I haven't decided between these 2 who I'd want to see win. And again, like I said, Swerve Strickland and the World Championship is a big factor in that. Now, I'm about to go on a long tangent because I haven't really had an opportunity to. And it's me kind of saying that AEW did something. It's, in my opinion, AEW did something wrong. But again, I think it's a case of me overthinking it. Now, this opinion / hot take is I think that Hangman should have beat Swerve at Full Gear last year. Because, personally, in trilogies, or in this case, rivalries, because it's past 3 matchups in this hypothetical scenario. Or in this trilogy, let's backtrack it. Swerve and Hangman right now is 2-0-1 for Swerve. Hangman has not beaten Swerve. Swerve won at Wrestle Dream, Swerve won at Full Gear, and then they had the time limit draw. So if Hangman wins this 4th matchup, we're getting Hangman Swerve, and he could ruin Swerve's world title run. But again, backtrack it to Full Gear. The Texas Death Match was Hangman's match. It's the match he was supposed to be. He was undefeated in, had performed so well in, and now it kind of seems it's somewhat thrown out the window because Swerve won that match. B, And more importantly, I think they could have had Swerve come out of that match still as big of a star and have so much momentum, even if Hangman won. And I'm mainly bothered because, like I said, that was Hangman's match, and more so because months later, they had the third matchup in which it ended in a time limit. So if Hangman won at Full Gear, again, very similar to Danielson and Hangman, it would be 1-1-1. This fourth matchup is the tiebreaker. Where now, Swerve and Hangman, if Hangman loses again, it's a bit sad, but a bit hilarious as well. Like, you cannot beat this man, and I don't know necessarily if Hangman is, like, I would want to see this match for Hangman to win. I don't think anybody else would want to see it that way because Swerve is the one with all the momentum right now. I also should probably throw Will Ospreay into this, but I guess I could do that for Danielson. But the whole thing with Danielson right now is he wants to be a champion in AEW before the retirement tour is done. But I've gotten accustomed to this. Danielson has been on the record saying, yeah, I don't necessarily want a championship or need a championship. But any damn time he's chasing for a championship, the two times I'll throw an example were 2022, he was going for the Ring of Honor World Championship, and he was cutting these passionate promos and having these great matchups, and I wanted to see him win the World Championship back in Ring of Honor, bring some pride to it, because it was Chris Jericho as the champion, and he challenged for it 2 or 3 times, and lost, and again, same thing this year, with even bigger stakes, because it was the Continental Crown, and he could have been the New Japan Strong Openweight Champion, and the AEW Continental Champion as well, and he lost, and I was really wanting to see that happen, and he lost. So now, again, him chasing for a championship, him being passionate enough for winning a championship, I've gotten accustomed to him losing. It is what it is. So, I just gave you all the reasons I would want to see them lose. So, it's either we're getting Hangman and Swerve for a 4th time, with Hangman potentially look like a giant loser, or Danielson once again letting us down. Moral of the story, I'm going with Danielson winning. I'm just going to go with Danielson winning. I'm sorry I went on that tirade, but it is something that has been on my mind for the longest time. But I mainly want to see Danielson and Hangman one more time because, again, like I said, it's 1-1-1. Tiebreaker is needed, and this would be a big stage for that to take place. So, like I said, I had a lot of free time. This is great time to fulfill that time period and to get some AEW fantasy booking out of the way, because I did not make a fantasy booking video for Forbidden Door because I've not been keeping up with New Japan as much as I'd like to. And to be honest, when I'm looking at the card right now, it is mainly it's mainly AEW talent against AEW talent, because it's Swerve and Ospreay, and then the TNT title ladder match, the Mercedes Moné match, and Naito and Moxley kind of feels weird because it technically is AEW New Japan, but they've done it several times already, and Naito's more than likely going to win that. So this is to fill that void of not doing the Forbidden Door fantasy booking, and I did get a lot of crazy stuff out of the way and off my chest with that. So hopefully you appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments who you want to see win the women's and men's Owen Hart Foundation Tournament / Owen Hart Cup this year. If all goes well, I should do an all-in fantasy booking video down the road, but we will see later on. So, thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Go watch the Money in the Bank fantasy booking video I hopefully uploaded the day prior to this, and I'll see you in the future.